Good morning. Today's topic is stack data structure. In this lecture, we'll be looking at introduction to stacks, some of the applications, and the stack abstract data type. As you know, stack is a last in first out structure. In a stack, you can store elements of some particular type. It has the property that the last entered element will be taken out first. Consider this simple example where you can park three cars stack. This you can see that the first car that came to the parking lot was blue one, then the black one, the yellow one. But the first car that will go out of this lot will be the yellow one, then the black one, and then blue one. So the last in first out structure is nothing but the last entry that has come in, the yellow one, go out first. So this sort of a scenario will come in many often in your day-to-day life and many other applications. So if you are trying to implement or if you're trying to utilize some sort of a situation where you have this structure, last in first out structure, then probably you will have to use stack data structure. So the stack can store elements of some particular type. It has the property the last in element go out first. Last in first out or LIFO structure. Let's take another example, a tennis ball can in which you can put balls into it. Let's say you have three balls. The last ball that has gone in be coming out first. Let's see another example. Say you have two railway tracks like this, and assume that this is the shunting yard in a railway station. So the train will be coming in this direction. So while entering into the shunting yard, the train will be having the direction that the engine is at this side, then bogie number one, bogie number two, bogie number three, four, five, etc. So this is your engine. Now, if the train is taken in this track from the shunting yard, say this direction, then the last bogie that has come in will be going out first. So this will be the last bogie that come out first. Then the second last, third last, etc. And the engine will be coming the last. What you understand from this is this just looks like the direction of the train has been reversed. So a train was going this direction. Now you take it this side, then the direction of the train has been changed. You can think of an application where you would like to reverse something. For example, you would like to reverse a string. Let's say you have a string uh, ABC, A, B, C. You take each character and put it in a stack. A will be going in first, then B, then C. You will put all these things in a stack. Now you take out one by one. So you will get C first, then B, then A. So you can say that it's just simple application where you can reverse a string. So such sort of many applications can be seen in the live and in programming scenarios in the case of the stack data structure. I think you are familiar with these two terms, recursive programs and iterative programs, or recursive procedures or functions and iterative functions. And you may know that a recursive procedure can be converted into iterative procedure, or an iterative procedure be converted into a recursive procedure as well. A recursive procedure is nothing but a function which calls, or procedure which calls itself. So you have a function here. In this one, there are a lot of statements, and this statement is going to call the function again. Means you have done some of the, or you are done with some of the statements. So this statement has produced some result. So if you're going back and starting this function again, you store these the current scenario of the system, current present state of the system somewhere. So for that, what we'll use is the system will use a stack. So it will enter the present state of the system in a stack. It's called a system stack. So the current state of the system will be stored in a system stack. Now once again you call and you reach here, you store the second recursive calls, uh, system variables or environment variables, whatever, the present state of the system. That any number of things, any number of entries will be there in a system stack. So once you come out of a particular recursive call, for example, you have called the recursive procedure 3 times, and in the fourth time this was broken. You jump out of this and you reach here. Is that you have come out of the third recursive procedure. So at that point of time, the system state of that particular call need to be restored. So you can remove the test entry from the stack and use it. So S3 has many examples, some of the variables, and these variables are having some values which are related to the latest state of the system, and that can be used here. So this will be removed. Now next time if you come and if you reach or if you go out of this recursive call again, the next it is corresponding to the system state which is stored in the next as a next element of the stack. So that is what is the use of a system stack in the case of a recursive procedure. So in the case of a recursive procedure, there is always a system stack involved. Now, if you try to convert a recursive procedure to an iterative procedure, uh, there's no system stack associated with an iterative procedure. So what we have to do is, in many times you will have to, while converting from recursion to iteration, you will have to implement this of your own. So this system need to be simulated or implemented in a programmatical way, so that you can easily convert a recursive procedure to an iterative procedure. The reverse is also very the reverse is also you can think in the reverse way also, like you have an iterative procedure which internally use a stack which is written by the programmer. Then in that case, you can say that you can always say that if there is such a uh, that is there is an iterative procedure with an internal implementation of stack inside this procedure, then you always convert that into a recursive procedure, basically because the same stack structure is available, or uh, there is a system stack available, and that can be used instead of the stack that is available in the case of iterative procedure. So what I'm trying to say, along with the recursive procedure or an iterative procedure also, you can see this particular element as stack. In the case of a recursive procedure, and think it of like system stack, and in the case of iterative procedures, a programmer defined stack. The stack abstract data type. An abstract data type is normally defined as data, then the operations that need to be that can be performed on the data. So the data elements in the case of the stack are uh, same type or the similar type data elements. For example, consider an integer stack with size equal to 5. So you need to reserve space for storing 5 integers. For example, is the 0th element, first element, second element, third element, and the fourth element. Now the stack is full up to position 3. There is one more space that's vacant. So data means you will have to have or you'll have to reserve space for storing these elements. If it is an integer stack, storing space for storing your element. If it is a stack of strings, if it is a stack of structures, whatever, correspondingly you will have to store, you will have to define space storing that elements. In addition to that, you should have something known as a top pointer, which is a single variable which points to the top element at a particular instant of time. For example, at this point of time, this pointer is pointing to this topmost value in the stack, that is 25. Initially, the stack will be pointing to -1, which means the stack is empty. Now, if you insert one element, the stack top will be pointing to 0th value. If you insert one more element, the top will be pointing to the first value, and so on. So, top always will point to the topmost element in the stack. So, stack is even though the stack is defined as a space for something like if you're trying to think it in terms of an array, it will be reserving space like this, an array, 0th element, first element, second element, etc. But it is always better to think it in the vertical direction, so that you can think it of a stack as a stack elements itself. So the 0th element will be at the bottom, first element will be on top of that, second element will be on top of that, and so on. So if the top pointer or top variable is always pointing to the topmost element in the stack. Usually the top pointer will be or top variable will be pointing to top is actually not a pointer, top is a variable. So a variable may be an integer variable. If the value of that integer variable is just one, in the sense it is an empty stack. These are the possible operations that can be performed on a stack: push an element, pop an element, is empty, is full, and stack top operation. Push an elements, push x is going to be inserted. For example, push x at this scenario will insert an element x here. Now the top pointer will be pointing to the topmost element, which is x. This operation pop will be pointing to removing the topmost element. For example, if you call a top if you call this operation now pop operation, the topmost element x will be removed, and the top pointer will be into this value. So a push operation means you will insert that element. A pop operation means you will remove the element. So it is insert and delete operation. So this is insert operation. This is your delete operation. Is empty is an operation which will give you a value 0 or 1, 1 or 0. If the stack is empty, it will give you a value 1. If the stack is not empty, it will give a value 0. How you can check it? You can check it with the top pointer. If the top pointer is pointing to a value -1, then the stack is empty. That's it. If the top pointer is pointing to a value -1, means that there is no elements in the stack. So your stack is empty. Is full is an operation where you have one more element here and the stack is full. One more element here and your stack is full. Then you can say this is the stack is full. Now this can be checked with very easy condition. This also going to give a value 0 or 1. 0 means the stack is full, 1 means the stack is full. You have a size associated with the stack. For example, in this it is 5. So if the top is pointing to size minus 1, 5 minus 1, this is the 0th value. Top can point to these values minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if the top is pointing to size minus 1, 5 minus 1 equal to 4, we can say that the stack is full. Stack top is a special operation where without removing an element, without deleting an element, you just look at the topmost element and say which is the topmost element. For example, if this is your stack and you keep elements on one element, you keep a stack of elements like this x, y, z, then stack top, you will get this element is z. That's it. If you do this operation, co-op operation, then also you will get this element out, but it will delete the last element. But a stack top operation will not delete this element, it will just give you the valid element where exactly the stack top. For example, if this is implemented as an array a, then a of top something, a of 0 will be pointing to this value, a of 1, etc. A of will give you the topmost element. So the abstract data type stack is going to represent these two things. One, data. Two, its operations. Data means space for storing that many elements. You will have to define a size. So that much number of elements. For example, in the case of an integer stack and 5 elements, in the size of the element is 5 means you can say the size is 5. Then you can say you'll have to reserve space for storing 5 elements and an additional thing called top pointer. It's a variable which is always linked to the topmost element in the stack. There are operations insert and delete. These two main operations, insert and delete. The other operations are supplementary. Push operation is going to insert an element. Pop operation is going to delete an element. Insertion and deletion should be done at the same end, and that's why this data structure is following the last in first out structure. For example, in this case, the stack is full. Now the top will be pointing to this, means the stack is full. In this case, the top will be pointing to -1 and the stack is empty. All the elements have been removed from the stack, but the space is already there. The space for storing the elements and the top pointer is there, but there is no elements in the stack. So means that top will be pointing to -1. So in this case, is empty. This is equal to is going to give 1. Now in the stack can be implemented. Stack data structure can be implemented by means of array or linked list. Don't worry about linked list. We will be looking at linked list in detail. So for today, we'll be discussing the array implementation of stack. Okay, so stack using array. So for implementing or stack ADT, we have defined a stack as space for storing elements. Here the size of the stack is 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Locations are specified. Say you created an array. Yes. S of 0 you will get one element, S of first element, S of 1 you will get second element, and so on. Now have one more thing called top pointer, which is pointing to or which is stored with a value -1. means that the stack is empty now. You have not inserted any elements onto the stack. It's always better if you think, or if you write, if you look at stack like this instead of this, but in your memory the stack will be like this. It's always better look at stack like this, so that it always makes sense that the first element, zero element is sorry, first element is on top of zeroth element, second element is on top of first element. There is like a stack of elements. Instead of looking it as an array of elements, you always try to represent it as a in the vertical, as a vertical array. Now let's say you have inserted some of the elements, then it will look like this. You have inserted 10, 15 and 7, so top will be pointing to this second. We'll think about the actual implementation. So we have defined for in the ADT we have defined stack as an array and or space for storing elements. So for the sake of simple implementation, we'll take this as an array. It's an array of, it should have a size, array of size equal to 5, and you should have a top pointer. So it has a size, it has a top pointer and space for storing. And so instead of you can always create a static array for storing a stack. But for our implementation, let's make it dynamic, so that once you read the size of the array at that point of, once you read the size of the stack, at that point of time, we will create a stack of that particular size. Then it will be more meaningful rather than using a static array for storing the elements in a stack. So this structure, we are going to use our implementation. The structure is having values. First value is the size of the stack, second value is the top pointer, and third value is the pointer to integer, means that it is an integer array. Now what we'll do is we'll allocate this much amount of size into that much amount of size into size of integer. So that for in this case 5 into 2, 10 bytes for this, so that it will be a 5 integer array. So inside the memory it will look like this. You have a str with size and another variable top is initially pointing to -1, size is having a value 5, yes, actually s is pointing here, s is pointing to an array of this much elements. If an integer array, integer stack, you say this is 2 bytes and total 10 bytes. So s is located with 2 into number of bytes, so that you can insert 5 elements here. So inside your memory, the stack look like this. Whatever our implementation which we have done so far. So this is our stack. We have seen the stack structure there. It has components, size, top, and s pointer to this array. Initially, you read the size of the stack, enter the size of the stack, then you read the size, st dot size. You created a stack variable st, then st dot size, then set as st dot is equal to -1. Let's say you have read 5 here, so you inserted that value, top is equal to -1, that also you set. Now what else you need to do is, so in order to create this structure, I'm telling, in order to create this structure, stack structure is already defined. Now you create a variable st out of structure. So once you create a variable st, it will this is your st. So st has three components: size, top, and pointer to s, pointer to an integer or integer array. It's an integer array. So you read size here 5. You read top value equal to -1 here. Then you create or you allocate memory. How memory need to be allocated? 5 into what type of value you are going to store. You are going to create a integer stack. So st dot size equal to 5. 5 into size of integer. 5 into 2 equal to 10 bytes. So this is 2 bytes. This is 2 bytes. Total bytes is allocated. So once you run this, it will create a structure like this in your memory. So here what you have done is you have defined a stack structure previously. Then you have created a variable st. You declared a variable st. Then you have read values 5 and -1. Then along with s, you have allocated memory. Now you can read values to these locations like this x, y, z, etc. Correspondingly, if you read a value to this location, means what you mean by you push or insert a value. You read a value means you are inserting a value. You read a value, you are inserting a value. Top is equal to -1 means there are no elements. If you insert a value, top need to be changed. Top equal to 0. If you insert one more value, top need to be changed. Top is equal to 1. If you delete a value, correspondingly top need to be changed. You have deleted some value, top is equal to 0. If you do one more value, you change the top value, top equal to -1, and so on. So this is how it will look like in your memory. Now let's talk about the options on the stack. The first operation which we have defined was the push operation. The push operation was for inserting an element onto the stack. So you're pushing the stack and the element that need to be inserted x. The idea is to insert element here in the corresponding location, corresponding in the sense the location where the top is pointing. Top was pointing previously to location 2. Now there is no free space. You have a space on top of that. You insert there and increment top. That is what is done. So you have s pointer top equal to st pointer size -1. What is the meaning of st pointer top? If it is pointing to st dot pointer size -1, size is equal to here. Size -1 4. The top is pointing to 4. Means the stack is already full, so you cannot insert. The stack is already full, so you cannot insert. For example, this scenario in top is equal to 4. The stack is all pointing to 4, so you cannot insert. The stack overflow. Now stack is pointing to 2 means you have free space. So you come out of this if statement and you have space on top of it. So what you do is you just increment top. So the top reach here. Now top is pointing to this location. Once the top is pointing to that location, you insert your element there. St pointer s of st top. St pointer s of st top. St pointer s of 0 is this, s of 1 is this, s2 is this, s of 3 is this, s of 4 is this. You insert your new element at this point, at this location. St pointer s of 3 equal to this, so insert the value x here. That's it. So that's how you insert an element. While insert element, you just check whether you have space in your stack or not. If there is no space, you should say the stack is full. Otherwise, you can insert. It's a very simple operation. You don't have any loop statements. It's an order of one operation. Means that these open can be done in constant time. You just check the top point and see whether your top is pointing to the last element and your stack is full or not. Otherwise, you insert. So it's a constant time operation or a order of one operation. This is the second operation we have discussed, pop operation or delete an element of the stack. Now top is pointing to 2. This is the element which is the top is pointing to 7 now. While deleting an element, you will have to get that element back. That's why this function is having a return value. This is an integer stack, so you're returning an integer value to create a variable x, so that will return that variable in that variable. Sorry, return stack top on that variable. Before deleting an element from the stack, you should check the stack underflow condition. Stack underflow condition is or whether the stack is empty or not. If you don't have any element in the stack, you cannot delete the element. That's why. So if st dot top is -1 means you don't have to. Sorry, you don't have elements in that, so you cannot delete. So you just give a message that stack underflow. Otherwise, you take this element out. You take this element out. X is equal to st pointer of st top. So you take this element in x. So you have it equal to 7 now. X is equal to 7 at this point. St dot top, st pointer top minus minus. Now the top is pointing to, now your top is pointing to this previous look. Actually, you are deleting any element from this. You are just changing this value. That's it. You are not removing the element here and say that you are not writing anything any on top of it. You just say you keep this value 7 here and you say that now the stack top is this. So that next onwards you ask for push option. What will happen is it will push it here so that this element will get replaced. That's it. You return x is already having this value, you have taken this value and x is having this value, so the value will be returned. So that is what pop operation or delete operation from an array, sorry, delete operation from stack. You just to check whether the stack is empty or not. If the stack is empty, you cannot delete any element. If otherwise, you just decrement the top pointer. Before decrementing, you take this element out. Sorry. Before decrementing, you take this element out. Now you have a few more questions left. Sorry, few more options like stack top. As I've told, stack top is not going to return. Sorry, not going to delete any element. It will just return the top element. So if stack top is -1, return -1. Means that the stack is empty. You return -1. Otherwise, you return the topmost element. That's it. You can access the stack top element. This st dot s. St is the stack structure. In that you have an array S. In that you have elements. So st dot top was pointing to 4. You will get the topmost element. Whatever the top variable is pointing, that element you will get. That's it. That is stack top. So in case the stack function will be running the value 11. These functions we have already discussed, int is empty and int is full. These functions can return two values, 0 or 1. If the stack is empty, it will return 1. If the stack is not empty, it will return as 0. If st dot top is equal to -1, yeah, the stack is empty, you return 1. Otherwise, you return 0. Is full. If the st dot top is st size -1, means the stack is all full. In this scenario, is equal to 4, equal to 5 minus 1. 5 is our size, minus 1. Then you say return 1. So this function also going to return any one of the two values, not 0. It will return 1 if this condition is if the stack is full, otherwise 0. This function will return 1 if the stack is uh, empty, otherwise it will return. So that's all about the stack data structure. We have been talking about the stack data structure. It has got operations like The stack data structure is defined as the data and its operations. You have data means you have the space for storing elements. So if it is an integer stack, you will have to reserve space for storing that many number of integers. Then an additional pointer which points to the topmost element in that stack. So in our implementation, what we have done was, along with this, we have defined one more thing called the size of the stack. Size. And using that three elements, we have created a structure. So this goes as an array, this goes a variable, this is a variable. So using this, we have created a structure, and a stack is created as a variable, creates a member of the structure, so that in that structure you can define the size. Based on size, you will create the space dynamically. Instead of reserving space for the statically, what we do is we create space for storing else dynamically. So once you obtain the size of the, you create its size dynamically. Sorry, its space dynamically. Then these are the operations. Push is for inserting an element, push for deleting an element. Then stack top is for retrieving the topmost element, just viewing the topmost element. You look from the top, which is the topmost element. That's it. Is empty will return 1 if the stack is empty. Is full will return the stack is full. So that's all for today. If you have any specific questions, you come back to me. Thank you.